I say to my fellow Australians, thank you for this extraordinary honour. Tonight, the Australian people have voted for change. I am humbled by this victory, and I'm honoured to be given the opportunity to serve as the 31st Prime Minister of Australia.
It's a difficult night for Liberals and Nationals around the country, as nights like this always are. They are humbling, but so is victory. Victory is also humbling and always should be. Tonight, I've spoken to the Leader of the Opposition and the incoming Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, and I've congratulated him on his election victory this evening.
The results from this election will see the Labour Party assume power for the first time since 2013, ending almost a decade of Conservative rule. According to local media, Labour is 4 to 5 seats short of a 76-seat majority of the 151 available in Australia's parliament. Albanese is to take to the top seat after Morrison's Liberal Party lost ground in several of its traditional strongholds. Quick Navarro has more from Sydney.
Well, we still don't know yet whether incoming Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese will form a government, a majority government. He's currently about 3 seats shy of attaining that goal. But as you alluded to, millions of postal votes are being counted. They started the counting early Sunday morning, as well as some of those early votes lodged by people. Millions and millions of votes still to be gone through. It could take a couple of days before determining it. We understand there are about 16 seats in play. I know that's a bit detailed, but look, all Anthony Albanese and his party really needs is 3 more seats to have a majority government. One thing we are learning anecdotally from looking at how things are shaping up, that it turns out that a fairly sizable population of voters decided they weren't buying what either major party candidate was selling. They were concerned about climate change and decided to vote for a larger than expected number of independent and Green Party candidates who did campaign largely on climate change. Now, Anthony Albanese will have a very busy start to his prime ministership. He'll be sworn in on Monday morning. Just a couple of hours later, he'll fly to Japan to take part in that Quad leaders meeting. Anthony Albanese, in his acceptance speech, as you alluded to, talked about being more inclusive, bringing people together. He also talked about having a First Nations people's voice in Parliament. That's the country's Indigenous population, something that they've been pushing for a very long time. He listed that very close to the top of his speech last night. He also talked about campaigning for increased spending on health care, aged care, child care, those areas, and also doing more on climate change. Now, regard to international policy, one thing that a lot of analysts see is Anthony Albanese taking a more diplomatic tone towards China and the relationship to Australia's largest trading partner, something that has been lacking over the last couple of years during Scott Morrison's tenure. One thing that analysts believe that more diplomatic approach could go a long way in helping to repair some of that relationship.
And let's take a closer look at Australia's new leader.
To his supporters, Anthony Albanese could represent a safe change. The 59-year-old has promised to kick out Australia's Conservative Liberal National Coalition, which has been in power since 2013. In his bid for the country's top job, Albanese earned himself a reputation of a builder, a defender of the country's free healthcare system, and an advocate for the LGBT community. In the lead-up to the election, Albanese tried to appeal to more conservative voters that abandoned the party at the 2019 poll. He walked back his support of more aggressive climate action policies and backed Australia's controversial policy to turn back asylum seekers arriving by boat, despite himself once publicly opposed. Albanese has been Labour Party's leader for 3 years. He took over the role in 2019 after the shock election defeat of his predecessor Bill Shorten. And ever since, Albanese has positioned himself more towards the centre. Before that, he was a leading voice of the party's left faction. He stayed true to his Labour roots, promising to invest more on the country's aged care sector, bring down the cost of childcare, and reinvigorating the manufacturing industry. But it remains to be seen how and whether these ambitious promises will be delivered in the months and years to come. 高一鸣 CGTN
Well, some Australians are surprised at the election results with an air of excitement as the country sees a change in government.
I suppose my feeling is a bit of elation. It's good to have a change. I think Morrison definitely needed to go, and it's good to see Albanese in.
Strange, actually. I was feeling, I thought that the Liberals were going to get in.
I actually think that it is time that we have a fresh government in place. I think that there's been a lot of nepotism, and that's really been illustrated by a number of things that the ICAC really want to set their teeth into, and I think it is time.